Okay, for those of us who are sensitive, perhaps empathic, one of the issues is we feel other people's pain, joy, pleasure, franticness. We feel all of those things. I have been having to boundary people because I've been realizing that I have to reserve my energy for my own healing at this time. So I've been in the process of doing that. I recognized this week my girlfriend Carol Kelly in Farmington helped me realize that I have a minimum of 20 medical appointments a week. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
14 of them are my nurses and the insulin, and checking my vitals. All right. 3 of them are my massage CNA, who massages my extremities 3 times a week for the fibromyalgia and the post-polio and the gout and the arthritis.
So when you're talking about health, your bingo card is full. You have 5 bingo cards on the table and they're almost all full. Yeah.
2 more appointments are physical therapist who is helping me to work on getting my core stronger and so that I can walk better. So it's like, and then I also have a young lady, Rebecca, who comes in and helps me clean, organize laundry, and I just love her. I just absolutely love her. But it turns out I love everybody that comes to see me.
Yeah.
And we've managed to become friends. And I know so much about their families, their lives, what's going on in their world, and as they do mine. But I also feel like having all of these appointments at times can be very overwhelming.
Yeah.
That's even before I have like the virtual doctor appointments or the actual doctor's appointments. And they can be overwhelming and it's just too much, and because I need quiet. I need to just be able to rest and focus. But at the same time, I've come to realize that with these videos, I would like to endeavor when people reply, make comments, that I would like to answer them if I can just muster up the energy and the time.
Yeah.
I would love to, and please bear in mind that I am so non-techie, it's amazing.
Yeah, there's not a computer or Wi-Fi currently in the apartment. Soon.
Well, I have my phone.
Yeah.
Phone, it's a smartphone. Okay.
It's too smart for its own good.
Yes.
That phone is.
Smarter than I am, I know. We've heard all that. Okay, but I would really like to do that, to reply to people. There also this week, a couple of things happened this week that taught me some lessons. And one was executive committee from community health clinics. 2 people on that committee came over Wednesday afternoon. Now, I have been on the board of governors for community health clinics for approximately 7+ years. And they came over to put something to me. I have been the chair for 2 different committees. We have 7 clinics throughout the state of Utah and approximately 40 to 50,000 patients. Most of our patients are, I would say, immigrants, refugees, Latino populations. We have a clinic up in Brigham for migrant farm workers. And most of our people are at least 100% below poverty.
Wow.
I have been doing nonprofit work since I was 16, volunteering at something. forever. And now, in about 12 days, I'm going to be 73. So that's been a long time that I have been giving myself away. And no, there's no money involved. Okay? And what they put to me was, since I've been chair of both of these committees, how about I step off of the public affairs as chair and just concentrate on being chair for behavioral health. And at first, since this was a new thought process to me, and being an empath, I'm really too open to saying yes to everything, to helping. I'm too open. And I'm in the process of learning to not do that to myself, as I need my energy to work for me. Well, so I did that. I said yes, As a matter of fact, I said, actually, I want to remain on both committees. I'll be chair for behavioral health, and I'll be a member of public affairs. So we left it at that. The next night was Thursday evening, and we had our monthly board meeting. And just as I was listening to everyone and feeling everything, I realized I didn't want to do it.
Oh.
And what goes along with that when you've told somebody yes and you really mean no?
Or you said yes not even knowing it was a no. Yeah.
So I had said yes, and as I got to thinking about it Friday and Saturday, I got to realizing, my goodness, I've been trying to get off of this committee for 2 years. Why did I say yes that I'd be chair for it?
And why did you? Why would you say that you did in that moment?
Because it is my pattern, it's my fashion, it's my habit to give myself away.
Mm-hmm. So default setting.
Yes, it's my yes, So what I realized that I am going to do is I will call these 2 members of the executive committee and let them know I am stepping down from being chair of anything. Mm-hmm. I will remain a member of the Board of Governors, and I will remain a member of both of those committees. I will not chair. It's too much for me. Mm-hmm. All of us do this, especially, my dears, if we're empathic, okay? If we are sensitive. Here's Chi, and he's saying, you better believe it. And he says, I'm sensitive too.
Yes, him is.
Yes. So it's like, okay, this is what I have to do. And it's going to be a bit uncomfortable, because I have to face, that's my responsibility. That's what I've got to do, is turn around and call as soon as possible and say, thank you, but no thank you. Mm-hmm. And this is what I am willing to do, and this is what I'm not willing to do. Mm-hmm. So I hope that therein will be a lesson for some of you who are prone to say, yes, of course I'll help. Yes, of course I'll serve. Anything you want, whatever we can do to take care of, da-da-da-da-da-da. So it's like, quit giving yourself away.
And I think that that's so important. What you said is that you can change your mind.
Yes.
I know
it's
I've gotten into situations where I said a yes, then it changed into a no. Then I tried to talk myself out of the fact that it was a no. Well, I can't say a no now because I would beat up on myself over the fact that it had changed to a no.
And yet your whole body is screaming, no!
Yeah. And it goes with what you said last week about it's a no when it starts to feel like a chore, when it feels heavy.
Yes.
A have to, not a want to.
Yes. And that's the very feelings that I was getting. It wasn't pleasure for me. It was, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And it's crazy that I've been trying to get off the board for 2 years, or get off that committee, not off the board. Yeah, so okay, all right. So that's one. Another thing I've been...
Can I ask you one more question around
Certainly.
that? So let's say someone's watching who knows they're an empath, who knows that they haven't set certain boundaries.
Right.
And just this prospect, what you're saying of going in and now having the conversation where you say a no, that's like, I could never do that. How do you take care of yourself around setting boundaries?
Well, isn't it interesting how so many things that we really need to do to take care of ourselves at first is uncomfortable. At first is uncomfortable because we know we're going to disappoint people. And we don't want to disappoint anybody. Our job is to make everybody happy, happy, joy, joy. And oh my gosh, I'm going to disappoint this and this. And it's like, really? What is your number one priority? Go back and figure out what your number one priority is. And you cannot, as I keep getting over and over and over, you cannot take care of others if you don't take care of yourself first. And realizing, and when you feel inside, it's not like God or Archangel Michael comes and speaks to you and says, hey, idiot, you don't want to do that.
Only might. We don't want to rule that out, but
Right. And your body is tense. Your tummy is churning. You get diarrhea. As you think of, they're going to want me to call this clinic, and they're going to want me to call these boards across the U.S., and they're going to want me to do, and I don't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
But you feel it in your being. And there's a disturbance in the force. Luke Skywalker.
That universal life force energy.
Yes.
You said for Reiki. Yes.
Yes. What does Yoda say? Yoda about being a Jedi master?
Don't think something the dues that levitate that ship. Something.
I can feel a change in the force. Little Jedi master. To do or do not. There is no try. It's a word that I endeavor to release from my vocabulary is the word try. Because there, as Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah, and it comes back to me that you taught me, because I was super baby codependent in my early days with you, and you're like, okay. And one thing you told me is, if it is a no for me, I need to get out of the way, because it will be a yes for somebody else.
Absolutely.
So there is somebody for whom they are just dying to be asked to be the chair.
And
if somebody asked them to be the chair, they would feel recognized, they would feel seen, they would be energized, they would be like, what clinics, where do you want me to begin? They would be making the phone calls.
Right.
It would get them out of bed, give them a sense of purpose.
Yes.
And that person right now doesn't get to be chair until the person who's like, oh no, says, right, that was not my role. I agreed to the casting. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I prefer that role goes to someone else. And dating life too, you taught me that with dating.
Yeah.
You were like, you're not helping anybody if you are in a relationship with someone where it is a no for you.
Yeah,
and you feel, oh no, I can't leave them because that'll devastate them and hurt them, and blah, blah, and then go and behold, you leave them and they're happier than they've ever been. and it's because there's for them, and there's somebody out there that they're the right match for. Yes. And I'm not responsible for how other people receive my no. That's none of my business. The only thing I can know is that it is a no for me, and that I'm practicing speaking up on behalf of myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting right now for me as far as relationship goes. On one level, I feel like, oh goodness, I'm done. I am so done. I don't want any, And then I keep checking in and going, is that true? And what I'm seeing is I might enjoy having maybe long-term companionship, yet I want it to be something that's incredibly pleasing to me, and that my terms are met, whatever they might possibly be. I happen to appreciate my freedom. I need my time alone. And yet, it would be nice to have companion who I resonate with. And that is not easy to find always, and especially at my tender young age.
Although my grandma met her second husband when she was in her 70s.
Oh.
He was a gentleman that he was a neighbor, and he had been married and she had been married, and she'd always thought he was just a lovely, lovely man.
Right.
And one day, out of the blue, she hadn't seen him for maybe a decade, who knows, and she was in the grocery store, and she saw him, and she was like, oh, look at you! And his name was Otho Khalil. And everybody called him Okay.
Okay.
And so she saw him in the grocery store, and she just knew that for him he was a lovely person. They started talking, and they were in that same spot in the grocery store for who knows how long. And she realized she felt happier and lighter and more girlish and all these things than she had forever. And he turns to her and he says, oh, Doris, would you mind if I came a-callin' on you sometime? And she said, okay. And this must have been 30 years ago or whatever. And so he came to her house. Yes. He came a-callin'. He came a-courtin'.
Yeah.
And they would sit in her living room and just talk and laugh. Ended up getting married. I think they had a decade together.
Aww.
And he was older than her, so he passed earlier. And it was the most joyous time so it's just that interesting thing.
Yes.
At any point,
we never know.
Yeah.
We have no idea. So I am leaving doors open. But am I out there searching for it, etc.? No, I'm pretty happy. I love my life. I love my friends. I love my puppy. I love my students, my family. There's just, oh my goodness, I am so blessed. I am so very, very blessed. But yes, I will leave doors open, and who knows what might ever happen in this world. But if nothing ever happens, I'm really okay with that.
Yeah, this or something better. Yeah.
Yes, I'm just really okay. So, okay.
Yes, okay.
That is funny.
Can I ask you another question that occurs to me?
Yes.
Because I have a feeling a lot of people that are going to benefit from you are empaths. They recognize they have that.
Yes.
Is there anything that you do to help protect yourself, knowing you're an empath, especially if you know you're about to go into, and you're a teacher? So that's interesting. I have seen you walk into a room. Well, gosh, every time I see you walk somewhere, people know you, they recognize you. I was telling you earlier, I took Chi for a wee, And just in the elevator and walking down to outside, 4 people stopped me because they saw Chi. Oh, Lily's dog. How is Lily? How, please let her know, which is lovely. There's all the love.
Right,
but you're an instant celebrity wherever you are in a way because you love people so fully. How do you protect your energy when you know you're leaving the house, you're going to be encountering people, or you're about to speak at an engagement or run a group where there will be many people that all maybe want some individual time with you?
Yes. I prepare myself before I go or before I meet somebody. I listen to CDs. I have a boombox in the bathroom, and I listen to CDs that uplift me. I also listen to music CDs, and I sing and everything. And so I'm basically feeling lighter, happier, okay? And I go and I meet people all around the place. And then when I start to feel drained or just getting tired or whatever, it's like I excuse myself because I know that it's time for me to go. Oftentimes when I've gone to a lecture or a class, I'm the person sitting in the back of the room in the very last chair. It's like when I've gone to entertain, like at the Delta Center or someplace, and when we've been hired for being psychic for different major corporations. I'm not the person who has to put myself out in the front in order to acquire clients. I'm the one who's going to put myself way in the back where you can hardly see me. Because I know that once I start doing my work, things spread by word of mouth. And people start seeking for me. But that's one of the ways that I take care of me. Other people want the acknowledgement. I'm not that person. Yes, I appreciate when you tell me that I've been a benefit to you. I appreciate it when other people let me know, oh my goodness, you said da 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 da, and it turned my whole way of thinking around. And it's like, oh, I love that. I love to hear those things. And then it also makes me feel like, wow, I still have a genuine purpose. And I love that. And who knows where the next exciting adventures will go. This week, I have been pulling up videos on YouTube that I've been watching. Since we started doing this YouTube channel, it's opened up a whole another realm to me. And there's a woman named Linda, and she has a site that is called Serene Simplicity. And this is a woman who lives in her car. Now, she is not homeless because she's desperado. She is living in her car, and she has all kinds of amazing tips of how to do it and how to do it elegantly and easily. And what sort of items one needs to possess. And I just have enjoyed reading or watching that. And there is a whole population of people in the U.S. And I found that there's a number of women, older women in their 60s and 70s, who live in RVs and travel around the country. And there's a site called Camping Girls. I also looked up another site that was interesting, and it was about a young woman who went to Dollar Tree and spent $10 on food for the week. And then she showed how she took those 10 items and made a ton of meals for the week. And it made me feel, it empowered me. Because when you feel like you have no control, and of course, the more mature we get, the more we kind of get pushed out of things and feel less in control and less opportunities. And seeing that there are people out there that are creating all kinds of opportunities, and we don't have to do what's been done before. We can shift and change. And if we know that it's like, okay, if I were to not be able to live in this elegant, beautiful apartment that I have on the 10th floor that has surround sound windows, I do have a car and I could figure things out.
You just do a little pan.
Okay.
Beautiful, the treetop living, and the treetop. Okay, sorry. It's just so beautiful. It's beautiful.
It is, and we're starting. Soon we will have a sunset, and it will be pretty too.
Yeah. But you were saying that it goes with that saying that you taught me. And I think it's a 12-step saying of no person, place, or
it's
thing.
not a 12-step. No person, place, or condition is your supply.
Right.
Source is your supply.
Right.
That is from John Randolph Price.
Okay.
And it comes from the Abundance book.
Right.
And in the Abundance book is an exercise to do that's really fun. And it's a 40-day exercise. There are 10 paragraphs, and we focus on one paragraph a day. And when you finish those first 10, you go back and repeat it until you've done it 4 times.
Right.
Okay?
Deepening it, yeah.
Deepening it,
yeah.
Yes. And yes, you do a little bit of journaling. But it is called the Abundance Book, and there are certain phrases, and that particular phrase of no person, place, or condition is my supply. Source is my supply. That is, I think, a very powerful statement, because oftentimes we're thinking, the boss, or my parent, or my spouse is my supply. That isn't a truth.
Yeah. Do you know that has been, you're the one who taught me that mantra. That has been, I think, the most important mantra that I have in my life. Because I think what I'm looking to discover in my life is how to unconditionally love life.
Yes.
And unconditionally love myself. And unconditionally love others.
Yes.
And I noticed that the only thing that prevents me from unconditional love is when I start to love conditionally and I start to love conditions.
Yes.
And conditions are things that can change.
Right.
So if I start thinking, I love this job. I have found my calling. This is my job. Well, then my identity is wrapped up in that job. What happens if that job goes?
Right. Yes.
This relationship, this friendship, anything that defines me outside of myself and source.
Right.
This, we talked about when I left London, I had a conditional love for life based on where I lived.
Yes.
And when I was in London, I was happy. When I found out I had to leave London, life, you bastard!
Yes. How could you do this to me?
And health as well, like I was saying in the beginning, that's a major one for me. When I feel strong and limber, I love life. When I have pain that isn't resolving itself, life, what if you... So like that feels like my major... calling on this planet, and what I'm working through is how can I love everything unconditionally?
Yes. One of the places I would do is I would, and I do this, I read the Tao by Lao Tzu. Okay, but you will also discover that a lot of people have written the Tao books, a lot.
Yeah.
And I go and I read all sorts of renditions of the Tao. And to me, and I ponder those, and I'm somebody who ponders somewhat deeply, you know, not as deep as a lot of fabulous scientists I've seen, you know, but, you know, did I ever tell you I got to meet Edward Teller?
No.
Laser beam weapons. Yes. When I was up at the university at Women's Resource Center, I was the receptionist secretary there. And we had brought in Edward Teller to speak to the students at the U. You know, so I got to meet him and have like a cup of Java with him, you know. So, I mean, I have been so blessed to come encounter people that you just wouldn't think you would ever see or meet. You know, and it's not been my priority. I wound up in situations where I got to do that.
For someone who isn't familiar with the Tao, and I know that you hold the Tao, you received the Tao.
Correct. In our local Chinese community.
Yeah. How would you describe what the Tao is, and are there a few takeaways from that that have really changed your perspective or you go back to again and again?
Well, the saying is that if you can describe the Tao, you ain't got it.
Oh, dang it. Okay, well, the video's over. Sorry, everybody. Video's over.
Yet, I think in my own way, to me, the Tao is about the middle way. You know, and to me, the middle way seems like when I've been in situations where someone is going, Trump, la la la, Biden, la la la, you know, I take the middle way, you know, and I just do the non-committal O, and that is something I learned in Al-Anon. And that is about saying, oh, my gosh, really, gee, And it's about addressing the person's comment, and they feel heard, but you are not necessarily agreeing with them if you don't agree with them. But you are acknowledging that they spoke.
Yeah. You're going beneath the surface of whatever the current is.
And I think also for me, it's like, I love the different phrases, there's like 81 major thoughts in the Tao. And I love reading them and just meditating upon them. And they bring me peace, you know. So I just have enjoyed that.
I remember there's one of them, and I can't quote it exactly, but it's something about endlessly pulsating, endlessly creating. The spirit of the valley never dies.
Yes. Yeah.
And about the impermanence and knowing that it kind of goes to that no person, place, or thing is my source.
Right.
All those things will shift and change.
Yes.
And if you go below the surface and deeper, the life force energy will constantly take different forms. It will take the form that you need it to take, and it's our job to recognize through grats and pats the form that it has taken in that moment.
I remember when I was a youngster realizing that I didn't necessarily believe everything that my parents believed. Okay? As a matter of fact, my parents had such a hard time with me because I was forever going and searching, seeking, and going to different churches and different belief systems that I remember even one time my mother locked me in my room one Sunday so I wouldn't go because they were tired of me coming back and preaching to them.
Oh, man.
You know, But I was one of those kids that was a questioning seeker. What about the people in Africa, the tribes in Africa, who have never learned about His Holiness Christ? Are you telling me that they're going to go to hell, because they haven't taken Him as their Savior? And just constantly questioning things. And to this day, I still question everything.
Yeah.
And there's not always an answer. And that's okay too. Right now, Spirit, I surrender my entire life to Thee. I am your woman. I am your instrument. What is it You would have me do? What is it You would have me be? What is it You would have me see, speak,
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I am your instrument. Do I see higher power, the divine, as a personage? No. As a matter of fact, I don't see it at all. I figure that I am finite. Creator is infinite. How can the finite possibly comprehend the infinite? It ain't doable. It just can't happen.
Yeah.
In the Baha'i faith, something I learned was, how can a drop of water know the ocean? Okay? The drop of water can merge with the ocean and be at one mint, but yet cannot know or understand all the nuances of the ocean.
And I think something that makes what you say radical is that you kind of talk about, how do I recognize the voice of divinity as it's talking to me? And I think the old school belief is, I whip myself in the back and I put on the shirt made of hair, and it's in the next life I shall find joy. And what you're saying is that even if you don't know what the infinite is, you do recognize the qualities of the infinite. And you follow those. And for you, the qualities of the infinite are love, laughter, singing, dancing, communion, joy, lightness.
Nature. All of these things. And that's also something I feel about the Tao, that the Tao is so much about nature and following the laws, the natural laws of nature. Taking a look at the seasons, taking a look at a plant, taking a look at critters, and seeing the brightness in their eyes, the intelligence, the love, the caring that's in their eyes. And so many cultures, of course, kill animals and eat the little beasties. And the more mature I get, the more that I just can't do that. I'm cautious. I eat a lot of nuts and cheese, yogurt, cottage cheese,
Wait, nuts? That's my family. Wait a minute. No, I'm just kidding.
So it's just so much joy.